The Run with Tommie Frazier and Johnny Rodgers. I'm your host, Ana Bellinghausen. Another win, guys. 2-2, 500, 28-14 win over Louisiana Tech. Guys, are we satisfied with this? How do we feel?
I'm satisfied with it. A win is a win. And the object of the game is to win it. Some people want to see it being done more dominant, but at this point, a win is a win. Because you're building confidence, and I think the confidence is doing well right now, knowing what they have ahead of them. So I'm happy that they're 2-2.
Well, I feel we're going in the right direction. We got 2 losses and 2 wins, and we're going into one of the biggest games we're going to have in the season with a positive. With a win. So you can't say nothing about a win because you got to win them any kind of way you win them, as long as it's a win. And they did it now, so I'm happy.
So Heinrich Harburg, 2-0 as a starter now. Has some tightness, came out later in the game, but maybe that was more precautionary. I don't think Matt Rule's too worried about him necessarily, but want to hear your assessment from a second start.
Well, I think he did well. I just think he's taking too many hits. When you have Jeff Sims not healthy and you really don't know how well Chuba's going to play, I think he's taking a little bit too many hits. Sometimes you got to learn how to get out of bounds to get down. But overall, I think his game he's played well. He hasn't done anything to really cost him the game, and he's executing offenses, which is what you want your quarterback to do.
Well, I figure he's doing whatever's necessary. You got to take the hits and give the hits and do whatever. And there's somebody waiting in there on the sideline right now to replace him anytime. So he's been a tough guy. He is a tough guy, tough quarterback, and trying to make a statement. And you can see he's giving his best effort. I think that's what counts the most. That he's not holding back. He intends on doing the best he can. Intends on winning. The attitude goes through the whole goddamn team. It's not good to take hits, but he's not the only quarterback, though. So it's like when you depend on one guy and he's going to be there all season, it's a little bit different when you're going back and forth.
Yeah, but I don't think that. My opinion, I don't think they're depending on him the whole season. I think I say right now with Jeff being injured, not 100%. And I think that sometimes you got to be smart about some of the things, some of the hits that you take, because if he goes out, then you put Jeff back in there, and Jeff Murray injured that ankle, or then you put Chubb in there, and then now you're down to 1 quarterback instead of 2 quarterbacks. So I just want him to be more smart about some of the hits that he take.
No, I agree. Your quarterback don't generally take the hits. A lot of other players take hits. So, but like I'm saying, he's got to make the statements we're behind, and we got to get a winning thought going continuously. And if he's willing to give a hit and take a hit and give his all, then the rest of them should be for sure.
Right.
All right, so looking at the stats, Heinrich Harburg, 8 for 17, 107 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. But I think the brightest part was his rushing yards. Led the team, 157 yards, and then, of course, a touchdown as well. What did you like about the dual threat ability from Heinrich? And honestly, he was just fearless out there running too.
Well, for me, I think it's what this offense needs. When you lost Gabe Irvin, you lost Ramir Johnson. Now you're basically down to I can't think of his name right now. The Anthony Grant.
Yes,
to where he's the only one that's proven that they can play that can run the football at this level. And so, but this offense, you need a quarterback to be able to take some of the pressure off of him. And I think having a quarterback that can run and throw the ball, I think it only helps the offense.
Oh, yeah, and that's why he takes a hit, because sometimes he's a quarterback, sometimes he's a running back.
Right.
He's got to really do it all, and what he's making a statement that I need some help. And so everybody with that type of, the abilities, and other people see that he did all that he's doing, then we can always do more. And everybody I don't care how much you're doing, even him, we can always do more.
So Anthony Grant, 22 carries for 135 yards, 6.1 average for those runs too. So really impressive from AG. Is this sustainable? Is this system sustainable between how much you're going to give the quarterback and running ability versus how much you're going to hand the ball off?
Well, I think that's what this offense is. I think when I talked with Coach Satterfield in the fall, in the summertime when I was up there the one day and I saw him, he basically said that he wanted a quarterback that can run and throw, that he doesn't want a quarterback just sit back and throw the ball, because his offense is needs for the quarterback to be able to run as well. He doesn't have to be a track star, but be effective running the football. And when I say effective, getting 5 or 6 yards every time you run the ball is just as effective as going 72 yards on one play. So because it keeps the defense honest, that they just can't pile on one guy.
Well, we're not playing drop back football. We're playing run. Run first, pretty much. You have to be able to pass, but it seemingly, for some reason, our line does better when we're running than when we're trying to pass protect. because we're letting them down on the pass protection. And so it's better that we run more as much as we can. As long as we can get 3-4 yards, we're good. And I think from the quarterback position, you're in the position if you're a running quarterback and can pass as well.
I feel like it's a little bit of the old Nebraska way, of course, with running the ball. Does that make you happy watching that game and just seeing the running game come back between quarterbacks and running backs?
I think what makes me happy is they're doing the things that fits their offense, that fits their players right now. And of course, you're going to want to go out and recruit guys that can, I think one of the areas that we have a problem with is wide receiver, a big play guy getting open. And I think that's just going to take time to receive them. But you're using the athletes that you have, and then when they come into the season, running back was the deepest position. And corner, you felt that you had Jefferson, you felt that you had two other quality quarterbacks. So I think what they're doing now is using those two positions to take some pressure off the throwing game.
Well, I like to see some of the receivers get more in the game. We need more big plays and more yards, quicker to take some of the heat off the run. So it has to be a well-balanced type of approach. And we always get a feel we can slow the ball. And, getting the ball to the tight end. I think our tight end scored
3 touchdowns.
And 3 touchdowns in 4 games. We haven't had that in a while where we went to the tight end. And so to get the tight end going, he's blocking and catching him and doing touchdowns. I think we're on that point. We need the wide receivers, though. That's where the big plays are going to come without getting him hit.
And I think the tight ends are the one that can open up, make things easy on the receivers. Because when you have a tight end or 2 guys that can actually go out there and catch the ball, run the routes, now you just can't focus on the wide receivers. And so I think what Fidoni's doing right now is only going to open it up for them down because teams are going to start keying on it.
Absolutely. I want to talk defense as well. So not the best performance necessarily of the season. However, the rush game was great with the defense stopping the run. They did give up 338 total yards of offense and then only 46 from the rushing game. So definitely a different type of defense than we saw, I feel like, in games past.
Well, I just think that a lot of Louisiana Tech came in knowing that, hey, we're going to throw the ball all over the field. They very rarely try to rush the football because a lot of Louisiana Tech is a throwing offense. And then you can tell with the wide receivers, the scatty wide receivers they had to where they can make plays. So the defense didn't surprise me. The only thing what really surprised me was they missed a lot of tackles early. And that kind of brought back flashbacks. Are you guys working on it? But they still were able to maintain them. They still held them to 7 points through 3 quarters, which is saying something. But you're going to face teams where if you can make a team one-dimensional, there's a good chance you're going to win that game anyway because not a lot of teams are going to beat you throwing the ball when they can't run.
Well, they're aggressive defense, and they're missing tackle, but they're there. They're going to get those tackles here pretty soon. And I think to hold them to 46 yards, we've done a pretty darn good job.
Right.
For sure.
So we can't really – they held on. They got the job done. And it's not always going to be picture perfect, but you got to get the job done, to get that win. Because if we're depending on our defense to keep them on the sidelines. The longer our defense can work, the more time we're on the field, that we can be on the field. And that's really going to be the key coming up, is that if our defense can keep them off the field and our offense on the field, the more that happens, the better off we're going to be.
And this game reminded me, going back to the days that I played, the one game we played against Kansas State, to where Chad made through 400-some yards against us, but we only held them to 30-some yards, and we still beat them by 14 points. So I just think that as long as the offense was doing enough, defense can figure it out.
So the defensive performance doesn't worry you whatsoever?
No, because it was, to me, it was just a different style of offense that they hadn't faced all year. And of course they made some big plays. I mean, there's some broken coverages that happen, but maybe they're trying to do something different on the coverage side of things. But it doesn't concern me right now. But now if later in the season, if you start to see it's a pattern, then it's time for concern.
Well, they were going against gunslingers. They know it was going to be throwing it around there, and they did pretty good. I think they're going to have to do better coming up, but I think they did pretty good considering. And we held them to 40-something yards. What can you say? We can't ask for 2 yards more.
Right,
No miracles. And you do get tired. So I'm really happy with the defense. I think this defense is the best thing we got going. I'm still suspect about the special teams that we have. I think we don't realize that to me, it's an offense, defense, specialty that's strictly as a whole third of each, and we need to put the same type of emphasis on special teams as we do on offense and defense.
And I hope what they go to, because I agree, just special teams is kind of the missing piece for me to where we'll not get anything on returns, and we missed a couple of chip shots, field goals. Stuff like that can't happen once you hit the Big Ten conference. So what I hope that and I heard they're going back, and Ron Brown is showing Coach how wide receivers used to block in the 80s and 90s. Well, hopefully go back and say, wait a minute, on special teams, there's a lot of starters who played on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's the special teams it's a big part of the game, and you just can't, well, he's third string, but he can do well. No, you got to get your best players on there, because the game can change on one special team play.
Well, we had our best players on offense and on defense come together, and that was the special teams.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of first teamers that were on offense and on defense that played special teams, so we could have our best players on the field at once. And when you got your best on offense and your best on defense, you really got the best player you have on your team together at one time, and you should get something happening.
Right. Why do you think that's changed? Because it's an interesting point, because it's a lot of the third string guys that maybe don't get in the regular play, but then they go in special teams, right? Why do you think that's changed?
I think it's lack of depth.
Okay.
I think it's lack of depth on both sides of the ball, to where if you had quality players who were the best guys out there, but something was happening, the next guy can step up. I don't think it'd be an issue. But I think you don't have that attitude right. You don't have those players right now to be able to do that.
So they're just being careful.
Yeah, they're being careful.
Well, back in the day, I remember when we first came, when you weren't playing on offense or defense, when special teams came, you got to play. Well, they figured it out that we had an opportunity to get our best players on our football team on offense and the best players on defense together at one time. And so that's very explosive. But when you got the best players on your team all together, but they're not doing that way. But that's the way we chose to do it. And sometimes you would just do it the way you do it. But that's the way we wanted to have our best players on the whole team back there on special teams, especially on punt returns and kickoffs.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. It goes back to philosophies and what they see, who they want to be on there. And hopefully they see that we got to get our best players. We got to start getting some of our better players on it to make something on special teams. So then right now they're not doing anything.
Yeah, you don't get no rest. We trying to win now.
Tommie, bring up a good point about the best players will play. That's exactly what Matt Rule said today in his press conference when, of course, he was posed the question about who's going to be the starting quarterback at Michigan. He essentially said the best guy will play. Whoever can put us in the best chance to win the game will be it. So obviously another quarterback battle. Sims still with the ankle. It's definitely not 100% right now. And then again, Heinrich, some tightness towards the end of that game. He was pulled out of it. Again, not really concerned about Heinrich, but how do those quarterback battles play out during the week? I don't know if you guys have any insight on what's going down of reps and whatnot, and how do you even prove yourself within a week?
Well, you already proved yourself already. Now it's going into, okay, which guys is reading the defense the best, which guys having a fewer turnover, which guys have more control of the game plan is what's going to decide it. But right now, both the guys have proven themselves that they can go out there and play. It's basically depends on which guy performs better in practice this week.
Interesting.
Well, I think it comes down to which guy that the team has the most confidence. The team has the most confidence at the time, and I would think the one that's doing the best right now, that's going in that direction that the team is comfortable with, is the one that has an edge. I do realize that you don't lose your spot, but just because you're not start doesn't mean you lose your spot. But we want to keep the momentum. We have some momentum going, and I think it's always important just to stick with the people that your team is comfortable with at the time, and that changes as you go.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. Heinrich can go out there the first series and throw a pick, and then now you bring in Jeff or vice versa. But I just think it's going to play out. Who starts is going to play out during practice, and then whatever happens after that happens.
If you're injured, though, you're not the best.
And
you're not
and high ankle sprains, I'm telling you,
I kind of look like the best, or it seem like the best. If you're injured, you're not the best.
And the high ankle sprains, I had one in college to where it truly took me anywhere from three to 6 weeks to fully recover, because once you got to cut back and keep moving, there's a good chance you're going to reactivate the injury. So I mean, it's just one of those deals to where it depends on how fast his body healing. It seems like right now it's not healing very fast.
Well, I wouldn't be that quick to put him in anyway, because we got a long way to go.
Right.
We got a long way to go. It's a long haul. We still got some competitors coming up that we got the games we must win. And hopefully we can pick off some that we don't. So if he's not healthy, he can't start.
Because at the end of the day, no one's giving Nebraska a chance to win this game. So if he doesn't play, you don't win. you haven't lost anything,
Mm-hmm.
but you want them ready for the teams that aren't Michigan, because a lot of those games, if you've been watching college football, a lot of those teams are beatable. And they're about the same.
Yeah.
They're about the same talent as Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska might have even a little bit more better talent than some of those teams, but you still got to play the games. And I think you're gonna need a healthy Jeff for later in the season than you are playing them on Saturday.
Well, I didn't know we weren't supposed to win. I figured we better win.
No. I didn't say we. I said a lot of the national media think that Nebraska doesn't have a chance against Michigan.
Well, I can see that. I can see that. But I hope we believe that we do have, and that's our deal. What they believe.
What they believe in the locker room.
I hope they believe that they can do this and figure this is what we got to get done. We could do. If we could do this, we can turn. We got to win. Some wins going. We could turn this whole thing around. If we're going to knock these boys off, because when you look at both sides, offense and defense, that we have outplayed everybody. Everybody was just those few mistakes that the quarterback made during coming in that really made the difference. Otherwise, we'd have at least be three. We could be 3 or 4 wins right now, had not some of the things that stupid mistakes happened, not something that people outplayed us. Nobody's actually outplayed us yet.
Yep.
We just beat ourselves.
I mean, this team could easily be 3-1 if you really think. The Minnesota game, I think, is just the one that easily could have went either way. And then, of course, Colorado. It's just turnovers.
Right.
0 turnovers this past game. So, Tommie, did that make you especially excited?
It does, because it showed me that they've been working on it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I'm going to always preach. If you don't turn the ball over, you give yourself a better chance to win. And I'm going to keep preaching. I'm going to keep saying it. Every drive should end with a kick. Was it a punt, extra point, or a field goal? If it doesn't end anything like that, then something bad is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now's the time. You got to just show it right now. I just don't know how confident that the coaches are making the players. Are the players believing in the coaches? Are position coaches? If your coach is calling the right play, you figure, you go in there with a whole different attitude than when you don't think so. So otherwise, right now, this is the big. Can you imagine how you feel when you're playing the number 2 team in the country? How do you feel exhilarated because it's an opportunity, or do you feel depressed because you're getting ready to get blown out?
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
Well, I'd say I better think they're excited.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're playing at home. There's a difference going on the road playing number 2 team in their atmosphere where it's loud. Now the number 2 team got to come into Nebraska where the fans can make it a little bit more challenging with noise. And I think the players will be more relaxed now. Because as I said, no one in the national media is giving them a chance.
0 pressure.
And so guess what? They go out there and they perform. If they lose, but they perform well, everyone's like, wait a minute, this team is improved. We better watch out for the rest of the year. So they should go in there and play very relaxed. Don't worry about anything. Go out there and have fun. Because this is what you come to college football for. College football, playing games like this.
I never had any fun. It was war. It's war.
You gotta have some fun. You gotta have some
after
fun.
I crossed the goal line.
But okay, that's fun though, because you're dancing.
After I got to the line, but up until that point, it's war. It's war. It's tight. It's tough. It's tense. It's serious. I can't go out and just play. I mean, we got to be serious, because anytime you make a mistake, it's serious. You got to be as focused as you could possibly be and take it serious, like it's a job. So you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And now everybody's watching, and we are at home.
Well, they already made their first impression. They made the second one. They made the third one. They made the fourth one. This will be the 5th impression. Each game is a different impression.
Right, but you had everyone. You started from now.
That's what I'm saying. Each game is a different impression, so we already made 4 impressions.
Well, man, we haven't done well.
Well, we
haven't done well.
We've done well in 2 games.
Well, like I said, we got 2 serious games we played that were a little bit serious, and 2 that weren't that serious. The ones that we could have won, like I said, the first 2. We could have won the first 2.
I can just tell you right now, there's a lot of teams right now wish they were 2-2. There's a lot of teams wish they were playing the way we were playing now. So we got to be happy with. Don't care who you win, you still got to win the games you play.
Mm-hmm.
They've won 2, and no one probably would have thought it'd be 2-2 at this point in the season, based when the season started, until they started seeing Nebraska playing.
What did they think they were going to be?
And by most I heard was 1-3, hopefully 2-2. I heard somebody say 3-1. I'm like,
You have different friends than I do.
Yeah.
Johnny's saying 4-0 the whole year.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't see why.
They could have.
It could have. They really could have. And it was just unfortunate that the things that happened that did happen the way they fell. Now some of the things are starting to fall our way.
But that's still
we had
playing
some
the
of
game.
those breaks.
That's still playing the game.
They're going to play the game every week.
Bad things happen in games, and it's how you rebound some things. You know,
well, we make things happen.
I always tell people there is no perfect game out there. No one has ever played a perfect game, and there will never be a perfect game. And so mistakes are going to happen, whether it's offensive lineman jumping off sides or interception or fumble or guy getting beat deep. Mistakes are going to happen. It's how you respond to the mistakes. And they responded to me well. They're 2-2. They could be 3-1. They could be 4-0, but they're 2-2. I'm happy with that.
Well, I'm a little bit.
Are you happy?
No, well, not really. No, I'm content. Because I have nothing. I can't do anything about it. And we still back where we started. We got 50-50 chance of we can take it from here and get where we're going. Like I said, I'm not expecting a perfect season, a perfect team. I am expecting us to do everything humanly possible to get to a bowl game to show that we're going in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the mark that shows we're going in the right direction. If we don't make that, then we've fallen a little short. And hopefully we'll get back and come up with next year. But you have to wait till next year.
There's definitely 6 winnable games on this calendar.
Yeah.
There's already 2 marked off, so you just need 4 more.
I've been saying that from the start. There's 6 winnable. I mean, I thought maybe it was 7 wins. But I sure said that even when they were 0-2, I still said they still win 6 games.
Well, I just want us to win some of the tougher. When we start, we come into conference now.
It's not going to be in the cupcake. You got to come out and play every game.
It's got the real deal here.
Yep.
You don't want to come in there with your booty tight.
Yeah.
Oh, no. All right, moving on from that one. I want to pose this question. So, very 2 different types of quarterbacks between Sims and Heinrich in the fact that most people say Sims is high risk, high reward, whereas Heinrich has been low risk, medium reward.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that, first of all? And then which would you rather have?
I don't know if I agree with high risk, high reward because I don't think you really got to see the true Sims play because he's turned the ball over so much. Let's see what kind of game he has when he does come back, if he comes back, where he doesn't turn the ball over and he doesn't take those chances. When I say high risk, high reward, I think of an Aaron Rodgers, I think of a Brett Favre, I think of a Josh Allen when you talk about high risk, high reward. Low risk, high reward is more game manager controlling the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think either one is good for the game. I just don't know what does Nebraska want. What was the offensive coordinator? What is he looking for?
Right.
Well, it looked like to me, and I could be wrong, but they're both doing about the same thing. They're both running the football first, and we're throwing second. It's unfortunate the interception, the fumble,
right,
the snap from center, little things like that. But they're both have the capability of running and making more yards running than do passing. But they both can pass too. So they're both. I haven't seen much difference in them, except for that we just had one had bad breaks and the other one didn't.
Right, and that's why when people say he's high risk, I don't see that.
No,
I don't see that because they both run the same. I haven't seen the offense change much.
Right.
One guy just hadn't turned the ball over as much as the other.
Right. One had bad breaks, and the other one got unlucky.
And we haven't even seen the high reward of Sims yet necessarily. I think
the ceiling's there.
Yeah, the ceiling's for sure there. We haven't really. We've seen flashes of it, but again, it's the turnovers that have just completely decimated any drive that he's put together down in the red zone. So it's been tough to even see a ceiling. But if you're gonna put these 2 on a pedestal and say, okay, who has the higher ceiling? I mean, I think it's Sims by a good amount.
I think Sims is more athletic, and so when you look at it that way, yes, of course, if you're a offensive coordinator, you're a head coach, yes, you don't want the most athletic guy be the guy that you're playing. But sometimes that gets you in trouble too.
Right.
So I just think both these guys are doing what Scott wants them to do, and I'm talking about the offensive coordinator, not the pass coach.
Yep.
But what he wants to run, and I think they're doing it effectively. But once again, it goes back to you can't count them, you can't discard those mistakes that Jeff made because a lot of them are mistakes that he couldn't control.
Jeff's potential is off the chain, But Heinrich, we're moving. He's getting it done. And it's not like who has the best possibility. It's who is actually getting it done. And that's the best quarterback. And I'm sure he's showing that he's the best quarterback for us right now.
Yeah.
And, and he's making the team run. I think the team is starting to see that they do better with that.
And for me, I also look at, do you think Heinrich would have had be playing the same way if he had to face Minnesota game early and Colorado early in the game? I don't know. I can't answer that question. So I also look at the competition they played to where no one thought that the last 2 games that they're going to pose a problem to Nebraska. That Nebraska going to work on their offense. No, but there was no hope. I'm just saying no one thought that they should get these 2 wins.
We should win.
So where the first 2 games, like, okay, well, maybe no one knew. Now you know that, hey, maybe Heinrich is the guy. He put him out there in front of Michigan and see what happens. You might see a different type of quarterback. He might butthole might pucker up a little bit as well as booty hole, as I would say, and he might get nervous because the game is large for a young guy to play in. I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him.
Well, I think the repetition got him kind of started though. And when you got a lot of guys believing in you, you play a little bit better than you do when you made some mistakes and stuff.
I get that, but I get what you're saying, but playing that position, knowing that when you coming from non-conference and you get in conference and you playing teams like a Michigan who has a pretty solid defense, they're gonna throw things at him he's never seen before in his life, and that's that. How fast can he respond to that? How fast can he pick that up? Because they're gonna do things different. Because there's no team in non-conference have shown everything they're gonna do through the year.
Well, like I said, we're going up against some of the best linemen that's in the conference period.
Right.
Some of the best players, and they're rated number 2 for a reason. Somebody knows something that's really going on. So we know we got to play the best, but we got to believe that we are up to those standards. That we got, I can't see what the difference even could be. Why we would think that they were even I would just think they're overrated.
Football's football. You still got to go out and just play the game because you play football is football.
Get it done. You got to go out and get it done.
Beat the man in front of you.
Yeah, as a team, as a thought, as a team. You can't. It's when we get into individual thoughts where we have problems, where you are afraid and I'm not. And we got to all be on the same path at the same time and have those guys in there. And everybody you have to be confident of the guy next to you and plan as hard for him as you are for you.
So let's say both quarterbacks are healthy. You wouldn't mind seeing both kind of trading off different series depending on what's working and what's not?
I don't necessarily say I want to see them trading off, but I would like to see both play, and then whichever guy who's playing well is the guy who you keep in the game, knowing that the other guy got in the game early so it's not coming in the game when something bad happens.
Right.
I think that'd be more beneficial because when you have 2 quality quarterbacks that both can go out and get the job done, the last thing one guy wants to do is come off the bench cold. So I'll say, whoever it is, let them play the first quarter, and then you get the guy early in the second quarter and see what happens. But then if nothing happens, then get the other guy back in there.
Well, as a coach, I would like to see that different quarterbacks like them to do different things. If I want to have something different, I want to pull them out to put something different in. I want to show some different things. I got some schemes up. I don't want to get comfortable in one place on me or whatever. But I do see them almost doing the same thing, most of the time. But if we have something different that they're going to bring to the table, otherwise, darn near either one of them, if they're healthy, can handle it. If they're healthy. But you can't play a hurt person just because you want to.
I mean, how good is it that we're getting to have this conversation, though, between 2 quarterbacks versus a scenario where we're scrambling, looking at, let's say, a Chubba Purdy saying, can he play quarterback, right? So I feel like Nebraska is in a good scenario if you're debating back and forth who you should even start.
And it's just been 4 games.
Right.
They've both started. It's 4 games, and now the telltale time is coming. Now the conference starts, and that's when that's when football starts. When the Big Ten starts fully, that's when it starts because you have no hiccups now.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and win every game, in my opinion, because if you lose a couple of games, then there's a good chance your season's going to go down.
Well, it's about time. I feel the same way.
Yeah, so it's a comfort. Now it's time to go out there and
I heard the word now.
Yeah, I mean, the lights are turning on whether you're ready or not.
Right.
So it's number 2 Michigan coming in.
It's on like buttered popcorn, honey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to preview the game Thursday, 6 p.m. at Hurrdat Sports Bar, guys. We'll all be there together live.
We'll be there. I'll be there this time.
Finally, Tommie's phone won't die. Nothing like that crazy is going to happen. But
all right, we want an audience. Come on down. Ask some questions. Bring your wisdom with you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're going to need all the support we can get for the team. Take one for the team.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you guys there Thursday, 6 p.m. at the Hurrdat Sports Bar. Guys, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.